Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our little, I don't know what it's called, podcast interview. Hanging out with my friend Mark Kawakami, the founder of Kawakami Amplifications. Mark's a good friend of mine. We met back in the early 2000s, skateboarding over at the Hickam Hanger with a bunch of friends.
Yep.
And we've been friends ever since. We did some projects, worked on some projects together while I was working at Blue White Surf, and Mark was doing his carpentry at the time. And yeah, here we are, man.
Here we are.
What is it? 20
years, huh?
About 20 years, man.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
What are you up to? Give everybody a little quick overview of what you're up to nowadays, other than drinking coffee and whiskey.
At the same time. Living in LA now. Been here just a short while. We've been moving across the, continental United States for a bit, since 2016, so about 4 years now. Me, Thea, and Murray. And ended up in, of all places, Los Angeles. So
Nice.
yeah.
So what are you doing? What are you doing with your time nowadays up there in Los Angeles?
Drinking a lot of coffee and whiskey. Not doing too much.
Nice. Must be nice.
Kind of just yeah. It seems nice, and when it's all hazy and I don't know what's happening. So
right.
But there's Murray. Murray came to visit, but I'm not doing that much right now. I did start my own amp company. Guitar amps and whatever, bass amps, whatever, just vacuum tube amplifiers. And right now it's just kind of in hiatus because I don't have a space to build anything, but I am working on designing a couple of different amps and stuff.
So before this happened, before all this stuff happened, you were in the process of starting your website, which you finally got done.
Yes. Got that done. Yeah.
Nice. And how was that?
Well, it was a long process.
It was, right?
I think I made it harder than it actually was. It was, honest to God, really easy to build because of that Big Cartel website. And it was just a lack of confidence on my part hitting that live button, to go live on it.
Right.
And I guess after many, many, many times talking to you, I finally just, pulled the trigger and just hit live. And it's been a slow process, even though, it's up and running. It's funny because once I put the product out there online, I didn't have much to sell anymore, because before that, the hype building up to that, people were ordering stuff from me already.
Right.
And so it was just this interesting thing that, I got, once it went online, when people could just go and just order it themselves, instead of calling me or messaging me, it just kind of stopped.
So how were you selling product up until that point?
Oh, out of the trunk of my car. No, that's pretty much how it felt. Before that, I would just, post stuff on Instagram or word of mouth, and people would text me or call me or, okay, Thea's leaving now. She's had enough. She can't. That's it. Bye. She can't take it anymore.
Get her in here. I want to see Thea.
Thea, can you come and say hi?
Come say hi to Ralph. Come on.
Go on, here she comes. She's asking.
If she's gonna laugh at us, we want to see her.
We want to see her. Good. Good. There she is.
Hi, Thea. There she is.
Yeah.
She. Outside, and all I can hear is laughs.
you like to make him laugh, and you like to laugh
That's,
at him.
that's
Right.
she says she's been sitting outside and she just hearing laughter. I said that's
Right.
probably how people are when we're at Viento or somewhere, because
Wherever
we're just
we're at.
constantly laughing
Yep,
about something.
exactly. We're always like drawing
So,
attention to ourselves by laughing, right?
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know where the question was now. What you asked?
No. So
Oh,
we
the
were,
website. The website.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Before that, people were just calling me. And I send out T-shirts or hats or whatever. And then for a while, I had people using my amp that I built live and stuff, which it was going really well for a while until this happened.
right,
And then
right.
there's no live venue shows or anything like that, so that kind of came to a halt.
Okay.
But but I'm still building, just slowly now.
I think I can relate to everything that you just said. I went through that same process as you did.
Oh.
So don't feel bad, man. It's just, yeah, it's totally part of the process. It's like you just have to
Yeah.
believe in yourself and move
Yeah.
forward. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny what you just said. You got to believe in yourself, because I think everybody else believed in
Yeah.
what I was doing
Hmm.
before I did, or
Right.
even now sometimes, And so,
Right.
yeah, you really got to have that in you, or keep yourself surrounded by people who will keep encouraging you, and not just telling you what you want to hear to encourage you, but have them lead by example with like you and Parks and and people like that, like Chun and stuff like that. They're doing their thing, and so it kind of inspires me to keep moving forward. There was a thing with the Eagles. I think the band the Eagles.
Right.
It was like odd man out. So if you're not if you're not at home practicing your craft and moving ahead, you're going to be the odd man out when it comes to time to play. And so
Right.
I don't want to be the odd man out. And within the people that I know, when I see them doing their passion and moving ahead, why am I sitting here when I have everything at my disposal? And if I do need those words of encouragement, people are just a phone call away, and it's not so much that I need someone to to light a fire under me. It's more seeing what they're doing and being excited about that, and then feeling excited about yourself,
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
it's funny because I build my own amplifiers, but I follow a Bad Cat amplifications, and they inspire me all the time. Just watching those guys build their stuff and what they're posting,
Right.
and listening to what they're doing, and then there's another company called Mojo Tone that they're always posting things, and so it's really encouraging, just within my own, I wouldn't say which with my own community of amp builders, or and it's not so much that we're all in competition with each other. It's more that the support of everything, and they're with what when they do something great, I'm all stoked for them. I'm like,
Right.
wow, so yeah, um, and being in LA, it kind of puts me in the ideal spot and puts me behind the eight ball too sometimes, because there's so many of us here.
Right.
So yeah.
I think everything that you said was like I think everything that you said was it's a natural process when you're beginning a brand, is you're constantly looking for inspiration, and that helps to motivate you to do what it is that whatever it is that you're going to do. But if you listen to I think if you're looking out there or listening to the people that are successful that have made it, I think that they put that, some of them put the blinders on and they don't pay attention to what's going on, and they just go with their gut, and they aren't afraid to fail. And I think that's the part that I know for me, I ran into, was just a part of of fear of failure. It was just like, man, I know I want to do this. I know I could do it. But I would constantly making excuses.
I think that's how it is with a lot of things, right? And people are afraid of that failure, and you know, they rather be like, you know, I've said this about a lot of musicians where, you know, if you're afraid to get out there and put your music out there, then you'll be the best musician in your own living room, and that's it.
Right.
You know, whereas, you know, I'd rather put my stuff out there and then have it fail, but then at least I put it out there. You know? And how am I going to know if it's going to fail or not? And, you know, or change it so that it's successful if I don't put it out. So yeah, so I always try to live by, you know, I don't want to be the best amp builder in my own living room.
Right.
You know, I want to be the worst amp builder out there that people know about.
Well said, man. That's a great way to think about it. Right? Because after a while, with repetitiveness and just you know, just doing it on a daily basis, you'll end up succeeding at some point in time.
Right.
So,
you know, and everyone's success is relevant to them.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, to whatever your situation is. You know, I don't know that I don't want to be as big as Marshall.
Right.
But I can't say that you know, that I can't say that I want to be that big, because I don't know. I don't know what that is. You know, so I just want to be as successful as I can be, I guess.
Right.
I guess that's with everything.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
Oh yeah. It's funny because when I was pouring that, there's a little side story. Thea was like, "Oh, like, why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, I'm kind of nervous right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting interviewed for the. I think this is probably the first time in my life being interviewed by something. Like I'm gonna need something to calm my nerves, or I'll just be babbling. And now I find myself babbling anyway.
We're just talking story, man.
There we go.
It's like we're doing nothing different than what we usually do when we end up hanging out with each other.
That's true.
Right?
That is true.
It's not like it's like you're being interviewed by somebody you don't know, you know.
That's true.
So we've done this many a times, and some of it's made it to our social media. So, right?
You know, a lot of it.
I'm gonna take a shot of my own right now.
Yeah. What's in there, Rod?
Secret. Kawakami's.
Oh,
finest.
There you go.
Kawakami's finest.
Well, now since we're promoting, what do I have here?
Yeah, there we go. Tori, shout out Tori.
Tori, yeah.
Let's go back to where it all started, brother. Where are you from, man?
Grew up in Paoa Valley on Oahu, just outside of Honolulu. Lived there most of my life, and then you know, my dad was a musician. You know, my mom sang, a soloist in Kwaihawa Church. You know, my brother's a musician. He and I kind of took it a little further than the rest of my family. You know, like, well, although my dad was he played with a lot of big bands. He had his own band. He played with a lot of people coming from the mainland back in the, I guess in the 40s and stuff like that. Yeah. And, you know, I think that's where the love of music and the reason why I wanted to build amplifiers was because of that. But yeah, grew up in Paoa in the 60s and 70s. It was an interesting time. You know, it's kind of a rough place. But like we talked about earlier, it was just that community of people that you took care of your own in the valley, and you know, and it's still that way, you know. And then I don't know, moved to Kaimuki for 20 years, Palolo, you know, for another 8 years or something like that, and then now I'm traveling around the continental United States, you know, with me, Thea, and Murray, just, you know, enjoying life for a bit.
When did you pick up your first get into music? At what age?
Oh gosh, um, that's a good question because it started at about like 5 or 6, maybe even 4. Uh, Seeing Michael Jackson on what's that? The Ed Sullivan Show, I think it was. You know, totally blew my mind, and we didn't even know who he was. And my uncle came over and said, "You have to watch this. He's coming on tonight. This kid is amazing. The whole family can play music." You know, and so yeah, it just blew our minds to see him. And so I started buying all, well, I didn't, I had no money. So my dad and my brothers and sisters bought, we'd buy the, Jackson 5 albums and, the Osmonds and stuff like that. And, well, what was great about my dad, he was really strict and very, heavy handed. But when it came to music, he let us listen to what we wanted to listen to. And so, I started singing because at that time at 5 years old I could sing as high as Michael Jackson, and so that was wonderful. Like, oh hey, Mark, sing, and so I'm singing,
Right.
like Michael Jackson and Donny Osmond. I had no moves like Michael Jackson, but I moved like Donny Osmond because he's a he could really dance. Just a clumsy white kid, you know. and and then I was the youngest in the family. My sister was like 10 years older than me, Delphine. And, she started, she had all these albums, Led Zeppelin and like Santana and stuff like that, and War, and so I had all that pop music to listen to. And then I had all this this music that would just kind of used to blow my mind, like, wow, who is this, this band that I'm listening to? And so, yeah, through that music just started going. And my brother Pox, who he and I gigged a lot together. Oh, can you hear me? I think my headphones.
Absolutely.
Okay. I got into Led Zeppelin at a really young age and got into rock music. And my brother started playing the ukulele all by ear, and then went from the ukulele to the guitar. And so I kind of followed suit in that. But instead of playing the guitar, I guess let me go back a little bit. My oldest brother, who was a drummer, gave me a harmonica. And, from there, my life went from Michael Jackson to, Lee Oscar and War and, Paul Butterfield and Mickey Raphael, because I just got this harmonica, and now I just want to play the blues and play harmonica.
Right.
And so my brother was on guitar, I was on the harmonica, and things just kind of started, progressing from there. And as I got into high school, when Van Halen came out, my brother asked me to stripe his guitar. It's like Eddie Van Halen. And so I started, I taped up his guitar, and then, from there, music just took a different path for my brother Pox and I, where, we wanted just to be musicians.
Right.
We wanted to play music all the time. We were listening to all kinds of bands, and we'd go to Records Hawaii at the time was the spot, because there was no Tower Records yet, right? So Records Hawaii, and we would buy albums according to how the album cover looked. So if it was a badass album cover, like, oh shit, we're taking this one home, and then we realized when we were reading the liner notes and back, was the same producers and musicians playing in different bands. And so we thought, well, why can't we do that? Why can't we be part of these bands and stuff like that, when everyone's just playing with whatever musicians they had? And so I think it was by the time I was 17, I think my brother was like 20, and we started our first band, and I started gigging, and then it just took off from there. Went from playing the harmonica to drums and percussions, because my brother was already on guitar, and he was already like, he was like the most fabulous guitar player I ever heard, and so you didn't need me on guitar, but I could play the drums and I could play percussions, and
Right.
harmonica, and so everything just kind of steamrolled and snowballed from that. I remember we borrowed a drum set, and my brother had an amp and his guitar, and my dad was a really big football fan and volleyball fan. And so Saturdays, all his friends, everybody get together and they'd go to the football games. And, we would have like concerts at our house while they were gone. And we'd have people coming up from the, like fucking, blocks away, like, where the fuck is this music coming from? And just be me and my brother just blasting his amp and playing. And I'm on the drums just going crazy. And then we look up and the people are outside of our house.
Wow.
And we're just entertaining the neighborhood. And then, it just kind of, we just kind of kept it up, and that's where, music just started off in my life at a young age, being a big part of it.
Right.
What
were you guys playing during that?
Oh man,
what were you guys playing for your neighborhood at that time?
We do a lot of Eagles songs, Hotel California. I think I just got this is like about 77, I think 78 maybe. No. It's got to be 80. Okay, yeah, about 80 because I was already out of high school, and I learned the intro and drums to Jamie's Crying by Van Halen.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And so I'm like, telling my brother, hey, listen to this. And he just starts playing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we play whatever come to mind.
Right.
Because, I didn't have to really know the song. I'm just slamming away on the drums.
Right. And so at what point do you find the guitar?
Oh, shoot. So when my brother would go out, then I'd grab his guitar and start learning stuff.
Okay.
And, Eddie Van Halen was a big influence in my head. I wanted to know how he was doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I would just sit there for hours, listening to his albums and then taking my brother's guitar when he wasn't home and trying to figure stuff out. But I never really got into guitar playing till around the mid 80s when I finally was able to buy my own guitar, and then I was like, oh shoot, this is fun.
Right.
Because before playing the harmonica and going to parties, everybody would go, oh my God, yeah, play something, Mark. That'll be great. But then all the girls would go for the guitar player. They never cared about that.
True.
They'd be all stoked. Wow, yeah, it's cool, man. You can play the harmonica and stuff like that. And that was it. And I thought,
true.
Hey, wait a minute. I just blew the crowd away. But this idiot who can only play 3 chords.
So true. So true.
So I'm like, oh, okay, something's got to change now.
Right.
And so I just figured, just get a guitar, start playing a lot of popular songs that was girl friendly, and then to go from there.
I was trying to see if things would fall off the wall.